TruVue Podcast.
A bunch of different views.
Them boys keep it real, man. I really like listening to them, man. They funny. Yeah.
Son.
You know what I'm saying?
They really speak their truth. The hell was that?
You're.
What it do? What the business is? What is good? It's your boy Mel, and we are back in the building again, bringing that barbershop talk to the box office, baby. TruVue Podcast. What's good, gentlemen?
What's good?
Yo, I am -X, man. Thank y'all for tuning in with us, man, at the TruVue Podcast. Alley-oop to my guy.
You know,
Yes, sir.
The VCO. Oh, I didn't see he's here. My bad. Go ahead, Zoe.
No, do your thing, man. You
That's it. My bad. Yeah, it's the VCO. You know, Wild Maniac, as you can see already, interrupting the show. I appreciate being here with you, gentlemen. Let's get it.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know what we came here to do, man. TruVue Podcast. We about to get to it.
Yes, indeed. Once again, thanks again for tuning in. It's grown man MJ in the place to be with the people to be with, and we brought one extra with us. Let them know your name, sir.
What's up? What's good, man? On the TruVue Podcast, this is Keenan Booker, A.K.A. the God 720. You know, I'm an author. Let's get it rolling, you know.
That's what's up.
For
Let's
sure,
get
for
it
sure.
rolling.
Way to be a modest guy now.
You know,
He's
Very,
not just-
very modest.
Man, you got-
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to do the full explanation now.
Oh, man, come on.
Hey,
He
come
got
on,
the
nigga.
bars.
Who are you, nigga? Who
floor-
are
the
you,
floor-
nigga?
The floor is yours.
Go on and spit a freestyle right quick, man.
My collar bigger. My collar bigger. I got you, fam. I got you.
Let me
This is
okay, hold
a
on.
world
So the
renowned.
name is Keenan Booker, like you see right here, right?
Yeah.
I'm the author of this.
Fuck this
Kicked
shit.
Out of Heaven, The Untold History of the White
Thank you.
Races, Volume 1 through 3, you know, circa 700 to 1700 AD. That's part of the reason why I introduced the movie Perfume to the critique, the squad here that does the movie reviews. Gonna
We
enjoy
not there
myself
yet.
talking about it with these
We
gentlemen.
not there yet, fam. We
a
not
couple
there
of-
yet. Hold on. We not there
Yeah.
yet.
We talking about
Talking
you.
about you.
We
Okay,
talking
talk
about
about
you.
me.
This
Now,
is hold on. Let me do it.
Hey, let them get
Come
you
on,
right.
Come on now.
World-renowned author, known on every continent on
World-renowned.
this globe.
Yeah.
He has music, more than 10 albums. You can get into this world and live vastly, okay?
Yeah.
Now, he is the creator among that. He has jewelry, he has artwork, all of that in this world. Check out his website, thegod720.com. You will be introduced to a new way of thought.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
I'm
showing
glad.
up.
Thank you for the mule kick. TheGod720.com. That's with 2 E's. All my albums are there. So I got 12 albums out. Just put out my 12th album this month at the top of January 4th. Just dropped Constantine the Black by This Sign Conquer. Phenomenal album. Zoe was on the album before that, which was Back from the Future.
Back to the future. Yep.
Back to the
Dope
Future. So
body of
y'all
work.
check that one out. That's on top. All my stuff is on Spotify. I'm on every streaming service known to man. Okay, I'm in every search engine known to man. So, you know, Keenan Booker is on Amazon, all my books. Like I said, I have 10 books out. The last 2 books I wrote was the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women. Okay, and it's a 2-volume series. But today we're going to be leaning on the Kicked Out of Heaven, The Untold History of the White Races.
Now,
3-volume series.
Now, for any of our fans, if you buy one of these books, please do your weights for your wrist. All right, you know, work your wrist because them are some thick books. They heavy. It's a lot of knowledge factor and compiled in there. So yeah.
Yeah. And they are internationally known. They're at the top universities on the planet. We're talking about Catholic research schools, private research schools, Jesuit schools. So, you know, even private military research universities have, you know, Johns Hopkins medical schools have utilized my information and have, used the material for research papers that they're conducting at their universities. So, and we're not just talking about students, we're talking about alumnus and emeritus levels are, have definitely used, the material that I brought forth. So, yeah, that's what I've done. That's what I'm doing. I'm working on a new album now. So, Zoe, I got to hear what you got. So, let's keep it moving. You dig?
So I got a question for you. Number one, out of everything that you do, what's your number one love out of all of them?
What do you mean, books or music?
Yeah, books, music, creating art, anything.
No, this is a good question. I love music. It's obvious, and you'll hear that if you listen to my music. I go over a lot of different genres. I use a lot of different samples of Fleetwood Mac, Pink Floyd. I do music. You dig?
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I even got Marilyn Manson on the track. I do music, and the only thing that really stops the love with music or halts it or, stagnates it a little bit is the business side of it, which is ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. The business side is immature. It's ridiculous. There's a lot of unnecessary going on.
You know what, though? That make a lot of sense because I actually like school and I didn't have a problem doing homework, but it was the grades that fucked me up. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
I was the same way.
Yeah.
Mine was showing up to class. Yeah, no, that was mine.
Right. And I mean, we all see what's going on in hip hop.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And they're not even showing you what's going on like the supreme bottom levels, the Chitlin circuit and the open mics and all of that. It's ridiculous. I love writing literature, but the literature that I do write is extreme intellect. And I didn't know that I was really doing that until this medieval series. And it sort of turns people off or turn people away because I'm writing at a level where I don't have colleagues to verify.
Okay.
So usually what happens, right, I'm writing, the stuff that I write is Dr. MD level. So and then I'm doing it self-published. So if you're writing at Dr. MD level, they expect for you to have colleagues that can verify you and also to have the degree lined up. And then, you get knighted by the publishing house and you have the time and you have the finances to produce on that layer. I don't. So, right.
I got a question. I got a question in regards to that.
Go ahead.
You said that you appreciate making music and you have a natural love for music, but the business of it kind of taints it conflicts you in involving you in that space.
Right.
Now with the book game, is it a similar type of activity as far as you having to be kind of tied in with them folks? Or do you find it a more of a free space where you can still operate in your love and still create and still pass that information along without
sort of kinda because in the book game you could do it all yourself and it's a simple thing and people like purchasing because it is a product that's in your hand. A song isn't necessarily a product. Okay. I mean, and even if you wanted to look at and condense it down to just product rules, it's only a 3-minute, 20-second product. So, a roll of toilet paper has more value than a song does if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of what a product is. You dig what I'm saying? I love the way people feel when they buy my books and, their whole body language switches up, their whole, atmosphere switches up when I put one of my books in their hands. So, I mean, that does good and I can make my money directly. And I've made a lot of money off of books more so than relying on music. You see what I'm saying? Music is a way harder push. You have to invest a lot more and there is no guarantee that you'll get any type of money back.
Now we all know that music is a congested lane. Do you feel that books is also kind of congested, or is there more freedom in the book lane, or is there more room to kind of move
congested? Around? The book world is congested, but not in the genre and what I'm doing.
Okay.
You see? So if you want to talk about, you want to write a children's book, boy, you got a lane to go. You see what I'm saying? If you're trying to be the next Harry Potter, you see what I'm saying? You got a lane, you got, an uphill battle ahead of you. You know, when you're doing what I'm doing, nobody's gonna do. And yeah, I know that nobody's going to do, because nobody's going to tell you how they're running their show. And that's basically what Kicked Out of Heaven is telling you how the culture of America was developed, you know, and it was developed during the medieval times, you know. So everything that you know, from leprechauns to the Cheerio, or even Tiger saying great on a cereal box, or Mario Brothers or Cinderella, all of that is medieval. And those are things that they culturally understood and designed before America was even developed. So, you know, or in the Encyclopedia of the Alchemy of Women, women don't tell you what's going on at the hospital, why they go to the doctor so much. Women ain't telling you what the chemicals that's inside they makeup, and they know a lot of this stuff. You know, they're not going to tell you the definitions of their names. So if I'm running game on you, I'm not going to tell you how I'm running game on you. I want you to run around and, you know, be stupid so I can continue my game. And that, all of this breaks all of that, you know, because you put me in the same game and I don't play games. You dig what I'm saying? So
I got a
we're
question
going to
for
figure
you.
it out. Go ahead.
Have you ever thought about, you know, using, you know what I'm saying, your passion for music to push your book mediums? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're working on a book, have you ever, you know what I'm saying, created an album to go with the book
Oh
to
yeah,
streamline
all
everything?
my albums go with all my books.
Got you.
So I just overlapped that because I got 12 albums now. But my first 10 albums are soundtracks to the 10 books.
Understood.
So they are connected. But as Mike noticed years ago, I don't necessarily slam hardcore intellect into my music. A lot of people want to try to put me in the conscious music lane because I may use a larger wordplay or more expansive metaphors. You got to be a brainiac to understand what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Inside my music, a little bit of that is there. But when it comes to my music is exclusively, extremely only music. It's not. I'm teaching. It's not Dead Prez. It's not KRS-One. I'm not teaching you. You know, teaching is for books. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
I've always kind of looked at it in this light, that when you're writing a book, you have to amass a swell of information, and sometimes you can't release all of that into your book. So there has to be another avenue for release, and that's kind of how I've looked at that pairing that you've arranged with your books and your music together. Like the music is just an extension of the release, but like you said, it's not necessarily to teach, it's more to express the growth that the book has presented.
music is life to me.
Yeah.
I'm guessing from what I'm seeing we're all of age where we grew up where music was life. Music wasn't condensed down to lies in the club and my night at the club. And I didn't support that. I wasn't in the club the past 10 years. I was writing books. You dig? So my life experiences is what spilled into my music and was sort of separated from my books, except for my first book, which is a autobiography. You know,
What made you write your first book?
what made me write my first book?
Yeah, how did you get to the process where you like, you know what, I'm gonna write a book?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I was in the game. I was doing a lot of street shit at the time. I was pimping, to be specific. And when you study the PIs, they all cashed out with a book when they was done with the game. So I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't have, you know, any type of degrees or anything. And I was always reading. My last name is Booker. So that's Anglo-Saxon for bookmaker. So I've always been reading since a kid. So by subconscious layer, I already knew how to design a book. I had to have something that was respectful in society. And an author is a title that is respectful. So let me go ahead and, you know, cash out the game, write a book. And then I had already read Iceberg Slim. I had already read, you know, some other black, you know, materials that are legendary is the word I'm looking for. And I knew that my game was surpassing theirs. And I knew that they was lying in their literature. So I cleared up some shit. You understand what I'm saying? Go watch you some shit. You dig what I'm saying? Go read some shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. You know, I was like, man, fuck it. I'm gonna put all the game that I understood. I had delivered my second son, so at an at-home delivery, you know. So I had herbal knowledge. I had a lot of unique, detailed experiences, that I knew was a common thread with black males. My first book is titled The Black Man's Bible. And I had already lived in all three time zones in America. So I was already in Rockford, Illinois with Mike. I had lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and then I was living in El Paso, Texas. So there was a lot of culture shock I was dealing with. And then when I was in El Paso, Texas, a lot of LA niggas. So, you know, I dealt with a lot of culture shock. And then I dealt with different variations of black male. And I saw a common strand of fuck up, you know. So basically I said, you know, at that time I was still sort of in like the whole black power phase of things. So I said, let me structure a book in a way where niggas don't got to go to jail. You dig? And that's what The Black Man's Bible and The Real Nigga Etiquette is. Those two books are specifically designed to keep niggas out of jail. You know.
So,
hey, that's very noble of you. Let me ask you a question. let me ask you a question, bro. So opposed to
my ass out of jail.
You said being an author is a respectable title. From whom deems that? Okay, that is a respectable title. And then why did you choose to write about white people being kicked out of heaven? Why is that a story that had to be told?
Okay, well, I gotta explain the whole white people kicked out of heaven thing, because actually the title came from their experiences. But we'll get to that. Let me address the first question. The first question was repeat it to me again.
Damn, I knew he was gonna do that. See,
the first question is I got you. The first question is you chose to be an author. You chose that as
that title.
You consider that a respectable title. Why?
Right.
Who deems that to be a respectable title?
Okay, well, when you look at the British monarchy system and the monarchy hierarchy is what it's called. The last title, you know, you have marquise, you have different titles that are on there. And the last title is called a gentleman. So the gentlemen of American society, which is where they're located, they're also located over there in Europe. But what a gentleman are the ranks of a doctor, police officer, judge, author fits in there, you know, individuals who are of a certain psychological class. Right. And they have proven that through work and through their dissertation of what they've done over their 20, 30 some odd years, that concludes them to be a assistant with society, somebody who contributes to society, somebody who is civil minded, and, you know, things of that nature. They're titled as gentlemen. That's a gentleman title, and an author is classified as a gentleman. And so is a doctor, so is a surgeon, so is you know, an engineer or an architect. You know, these are individuals who are classified as gentlemen, you know. So that's one of the reasons. And then it was a self-created title. If you understood the medieval thoroughly and how a lot of our industries have developed over time, they developed over you making yourself that. Okay. So right, because these titles weren't in existence for a long time. These are fairly very new when you want to talk about an engineer or a doctor or whatever. Right. So a doctor had to prove himself as a doctor through curing or through always being in the laboratory and figuring things out. You see what I'm saying? And being able to introduce things through their dissertation. Okay. So when it comes down to the kicked out of heaven and the white folk, the history now, let's be very clear. It got to a point where I've read so much material where I understood I didn't know shit, if that makes sense. Okay?
Makes perfect sense.
Big missing link. Right. When I was a child, you know, or even in your early revolutionary phase or whatever, you get to study in slavery or whatever, and you could feel this big black hole when you get around the 1600s or 1700s. There was like no information. Like it's this black hole of what was going on. And I wasn't sufficed with that. I wasn't happy with that. You know, you give us little spots and blots of stories about ancient Egypt or Greece or Rome in certain movies like Gladiator or Cleopatra and things of that. And these are spots and blots, then, you know, and then we see National Geographic, you see the pyramids, you see the Colosseum, you know, but where is 1500 at? Where is the 1600s at? You know, and then I'm not comfortable with I'm a pilgrim and there was a turkey. and I chilled with Stevie. Because in
So
reality,
fucking buckle boots and
Right,
high
no,
heels
no,
and
no.
shit. Yeah.
check your files. Yeah, big buckles on the hat. So check your files in your own brain, because when you check your files in your own brain about European history, that's the wall you hit. They say, what? We were pilgrims, and that's all you know is pilgrim. What do you know past pilgrim and the Mayflower? They kept it completely empty. So I thought that was like a slap in the face, like you're insulting my intelligence. And then I'm looking at other people like, nigga, you accept that they was just some pilgrims? But then, we got stories of the werewolves and the witches and the vampires and all this other shit during Halloween. What is that?
Right. What's that?
What are these things? Like, what are these things? The zombies.
What's the truth behind
The
that?
zombies. I like that philosophy there. Just saying, like almost like living in the real life matrix. If you truly are free. I mean, reloaded and reliving these stories that have been told over time. It sounds awesome. It's intriguing.
Yeah, it's like we what was a pilgrim? I don't know what the fuck. See, a pilgrim is an individual who goes on a religious journey. And the religious journey is called a pilgrimage.
Facts.
Okay.
So come on, preach to us now.
We didn't know that. I didn't know that until I went down this hole to research this. What are executioners? My mom used to tell me, oh yeah, you steal. Back in the day, your hand got lopped off, or you run away, your foot got cut off or some shit, I was like, okay, well, what happened to that system? Who are these executioners? What the fuck is a Buffy vampire slayer? What are you niggas talking about up in here? Where is this shit coming from? And I just wanted to know, you know what I'm saying? And then to be thorough with it, it was actually only supposed to be a 75-page book with a little slideshow DVD on torture, right? And because I had studied torture a little bit and I leaned on the Spanish Inquisition, and that's another question. Why you burn up your women for 500 years? What the fuck is the witchcraft? You dig what I'm saying?
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, what is this shit? You know what I'm saying? But
how many of them motherfuckers actually survived the burnings?
Right. And then little do we know, rock and roll groups like Iron Maiden, and Iron Maiden is a torture device.
Yep.
Wow.
Niggas didn't know that though. But this is actually a rock and roll group, and they sitting right in front of your face.
9-inch nails.
Yeah, 9-inch nails, right? All that.
A lot of that rock shit was real demonic.
Slipknot.
I'm close to say, baby, about 30 to 40% of our everyday communication is based on phrases coming from plays and shit. What'd y'all say? What?
He said limp biscuit.
Wait,
that's a different one. Well, actually,
but it does relate. It does relate
because that's cuckoldry science. That's the science of cuckoldry. And that's being a cuckold is a whole science.
Oh God,
we don't even know it.
Can you imagine?
Look, the VZOs are just woke the fuck up. My man is.
Well, honestly, I'm intrigued. I mean, honestly, listen, I'm intrigued. I'm not gonna lie about some shit, because I want to learn some shit and I want to read some shit because I'm on a path and a journey, and this is great for me. I'm really interested in like the alchemy of women. I'm looking at this, and I was just you're talking about research, and I'm just curious about how much the research and the time you put in, the effort for this, because I mean, these are not small books. I mean, these are 1,000 pages. Volume 1 and 2. These are some
book in the living room.
There's some meats.
This will replace Granny's book in the living room. So when you would talk about the alchemy of women, that actually took me about 3 years to write. And I went through great war writing that book. Lost my girl, my mom passed away, all types of crazy shit went down in the female department, in my life while I was writing that book. And it's needed because obviously the majority, thank you for not doing podcasts based on the malfunction of male and female relationships right now. But I think it's extremely foolish because we're the only beings on the planet got problems with the booty. Okay, you niggas got problems with the ass out here. You know what I'm saying?
Seems like a common denominator.
Lions don't. Okay, the praying mantis don't. You see what I'm saying? The killer whales don't got no problem with copulation. Okay? The human is getting his ass taken to the court and getting slaughtered You understand?
Yeah.
So there is a problem, and the number one line of business is that you have to provide a solution to a problem. So we're gonna provide some solution.
There we go.
You understand?
I love it.
And I didn't really. Let me
Hey.
go back to that. I'm gonna be real short. Kicked Out of Heaven. That title came from the experiences that Europeans were having in Europe. Okay, so
Right.
there was the first chapter is 1,000 Years of Weather, and that's where the title came from. It's because they couldn't tell.
Okay, stop right there. I want to ask a question from right there. So I see that you went from volume 1. You talk about natural disasters and weather conditions for a course of 1,000 years, and then you rolled into volume 2, where you started talking about the European society and the mentality of alcoholism that tormented Europeans, and started classifying things as insanity. Can you talk about how that has impacted the American society today?
Yeah. Dancing, the dancing mania. Europeans went through a whole time period for about 300 years of consistent dancing. And you have seen this. You all witnessed Bugs Bunny dancing around in a circle until all the dirt around him kicked up and he was in the ground up into his waist, all right? You've seen that on cartoons.
Mhm.
Right. Those are real experiences that happened during the 1400s and 1300s in Germany and in other locations across Europe. It was called the dancing mania, where people would just bust out dancing for no reason, and they would dance until they died. They danced until they broke their legs. They, there was one situation where a little girl was continuously dancing, and they used like 6 dudes to try to stop her, 6 big muscular men, and they couldn't. Kids would go on the bridge and dance on the bridge until they broke in half. So you see that when you're at the stoplight, you look to your right, and the crackhead is dancing. Me recently, I was at a gym, and they had like a little, you could tell he was a little mentally off. He was a black kid, and he was cleaning, but then he couldn't stop from just kicking the leg out and busting a move and shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, nigga? But that's dancing mania. Alcoholism, like you mentioned, which is the first chapter in volume 2, is very important because it shows how much intake and how much tolerance they have towards alcohol coming from the 1400s, 1500s, 1600s and up. And with us having native background, alcohol wasn't consumed until certain ceremonies. It was usually done through a form of beer that was buried for over 6 months and things of that nature. But we didn't have a constant alcohol intake. So to be honest, alcohol is actually brand new. If you want to look at this big span of time of human history, when it comes to native people, alcohol is a new thing. Okay, when we understand what time is, even though it's been about 150 years, but I'm pretty sure all of y'all look like you come from pretty solid backgrounds. Your parents didn't have bottles everywhere in the house and bringing bottles to, but nowadays that's what our generation is.
That nigga up there, that crib there.
Our generation is definitely. Our generation
No habla.
definitely.
No habla. No habla.
Our generations definitely have more alcohol consumption, I think, than our last generation did. Especially with us going to the club, where the club is popular as now. Go ahead.
And Mr. 720. Now you say so they went from harsh environments to this alcoholism that tormented them. They kind of went insane. And then all of a sudden they found themselves in the lap of the Catholic Church, right? Could you say the volume 3 is about the Catholic Church's history during the Dark Ages in the medieval times? Can you talk about the ushering in of that?
The ushering end of the books? Well, you skipped over a couple of parts. Alcohol, insanity, medical conditions, and then we go into the plague. The plague is about 300 pages strong because the plague is some very serious, and that is where we get statements like feed them with a long-handled spoon. That comes from the plague in 1347. It was called the Black Plague. And that's the true, one of the main reasons why I started this research too, was to find how the black or the color black or the word black was loaded in the white psyche. I started writing these books during the course of Obama's last year of presidency, and they were doing all the shooting up. All the cops were shooting up all the black dudes on the last year of Obama's presidency. So that's what sent me on the journey a little bit. That's another thing that pushed me down this road. And then after the Black Plague, you got witches, werewolves, and the undead, and then the devil. And then when you go through those layers, you have to get cleaned up by the Catholic Church. What the Catholic Church is and how I go about the medieval Catholicism, because it's not the same as modern Catholicism, okay? Medieval Catholicism is based off of saints. And there was a lot of saints that were developed during the medieval times, and there was also a lot of saints that were developed during the course of Rome. That's why you don't hear Roman history, is because the majority of the emperors were killing people, and they were killing Christians. And these Christians turned into saints of Catholicism, okay? And you have to get cleaned up by that energy. It's a very pure energy. It's telling you it instills common courtesy. It instills respect, because you don't know what somebody has gone through. You don't know what lifestyle somebody was forced into. There's over 5,000 to 10,000 saints. One reason I love the saints is because they have saints for criminals. There's saints for murderers. There's saints for thieves. There's even harlot saints. Okay, the saints for whores. Okay, so you know that showed me clearly that you have a full understanding of existence, and that full understanding is that some people are born for the dark side. Okay, but even when you are born through the dark side and you're going to go through more trials and tribulations than the average person, you need something to hold on to. And what you hold on to right there is that saint that mirrors you and mirrors your life. You see?
So even evil has faith.
Yeah, evil has faith. The majority of people in the faith come from the evil, you know? They have a sob story, okay? And they've seen enough, and they've also done enough and committed enough where they feel guilty, and they have to give back to the people. And they do it through the guise of religion, you know? And then one thing that go ahead.
It's kind of like in the eyes of the devil, you know what I'm saying? He got to have faith that you're going to go astray, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely evil has faith, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And one thing that I learned during this whole thing, even when it comes down to Islam or other religions and those people who go to jail, they really didn't have anybody that taught them how to eat or taught them how to read or taught them how to write. And they didn't, you know, because their parents didn't do that for them. And the conditions that they were born in wouldn't allow them. You know, the environment didn't enforce greatness, or, you know, you just settled and you went along with the dark path, and you had enough of the dark path and you went to the light. And in order to be in the light, you got to learn how to read, write, eat, you know, be cordial, have etiquette. And that's why religions have these rules and regulations, because a lot of people are born underneath some very shitty parenting, and that's really was the final line of what we're really talking about here, you know. And that's what happened. I also go through the Black Madonnas in the volume 3. A lot of people don't know anything about Black Madonnas or Black Moorish saints, and that was very important. I specifically put the Black Madonnas in there to combat the sexy reds and the Sukihanas and all of that for the Black females of the next generation, so on and so forth. All 3 volumes in together, they're designed like a museum. So the majority of the information that you get in these books are directly coming out of the Caucasian mouth. It's white people teaching you about white people. I'm just giving you a psychoanalysis.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and all the references are in the bibliography. Okay,
we call that cracker crumbs.
Right. So it's just I've read books where the author is specifically talking in a format that they're only teaching white people, because they don't expect for anybody else outside of their group to be interested or even to get their hands on this type of material. So that's what they are. It's a museum. It's for you to enjoy yourself, even if you don't have time to read it. It's designed in a format where you can spot read, and it's also designed to sit around and for your children to run into it because of the pictures that are available. It's over 1,000 pictures in the whole 3-volume set. You know, kickedoutofheaven.com. Go there, get it. It's only
what's
$50.
The most out of everything that you research? I know you come across a lot of devious shit, right? Out of everything that you have come across, what has shocked you the most?
I'm not gonna give you the most shocking right now because that'll deter everything. Our conversation, but I will give you this one that was very shocking. When I had to study witchcraft, I thought it was a joke because you have to understand that the medieval is divine comedy. It's very funny. There's a lot of funny spaces to keep it balanced throughout the whole material. When I got down to the witchcraft, they started talking about familiars and they started talking about cats and animals and shit, and women always having a bunch of animals around them. And it really hit me upside the head. Like, I said, hold on, yo, that's what's happening right now. Like,
The lap
these
dog.
girls always got to have 2 or 3 dogs.
Got a dog in the bed.
Paris Hilton and shit.
I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? So, I once I found that out, and once that, really hit me upside the head, I had to start looking at it with a fine tooth, with a more keen eye on what I was dealing with, because they're talking some realities here that are still in existence now. And
it's some powerful stuff.
That got a little crazy.
What?
Do they?
No, but I like that note. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying what you brought up. A good point. Oh, okay. No, it's just probably a good point. Like, like if we're repeating history or whatnot, just like when you're thinking about the dancing phase here, like, that's like preteens and teenagers right now with the TikTok and everywhere. Dancing everywhere.
No, I was going to even
Beautiful.
say with the dancing mania, it's even further than that. Past the children, it's in adults with the earbuds, motherfuckers at work dancing around and stuff like that. That's all a part of it. That's got to be included. But my question was, do they ever explain like a cleansing out? Like, with the Catholic, you said the Catholic was like a cleansing in energy. Do they ever go over like a removal of certain aspects of society? Or do they just kind of hide it and it's kind of not talked about anymore?
A removal, that was the Spanish Inquisition. The Catholic Church don't play, bro. The Catholic Church was ferocious. You want to talk about 1700, 1600, 1500? Oh my God. They were not playing. Okay.
The conversion rate had a high score success. Was that what? No.
Yeah, there was. Well, I mean, you have to understand the way medieval was. They had a high score success. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got Black Madonnas across the entire planet, and you got each location, each major city, and each state and location and culture. This includes Japanese, China, all of that. They got 1,000 saints over there that are Japanese saints and all of that. If they have mastered the whole planet, bro. And nobody even knew it because we're dealing with modernized Catholicism now, which demonizes it through the activities of the priest. And during those times, they did not play, bro. There was a lot of things that was considered to be of the devil, like even laughter. There was a time where you could get hung if you publicly laughed.
God damn, I'm out.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
I'm silly. I'm silly as shit. If I see some shit, I'm gonna start laughing.
Yeah, if you laugh,
you know what? That makes
off with his head.
That makes me think about, even I grew up in Catholic schools, elementary school, high school, and the shit you would get in trouble for.
Oh yeah,
we would be puzzled, and that's wild. How it ties in that way.
Yeah, and it's wild how we linked, because that's Catholicism right there, But you got to understand one thing personally on what the medieval and medieval times and medieval Catholicism did for me. It was a home. I didn't find home with Islam. I didn't find home with Baptist Christianity. I didn't find home with none of those areas. I found home there. Like I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what but I've noticed that all my homies that sync with it, like here goes Zoe, he was in a Catholic, he's automatically there. You know what I'm saying? And he was raised in that format. We're not raised 5% in NOI and all of that. No disrespect to them, but that's not our lane. You know what I'm saying? Like my homie Michael, he has the name Michael. I have the name Keenan, which is Irish. We all have Irish, Scottish, English type names. We're not Jamals and Daquans. Jamals and Daquans are in a different category. They don't have the frequency for this, basically, is what I'm saying.
Icing on the cake. I grew up, a PK, a preacher's kid. My grandfather was a pastor. My father was a pastor. So
you just passed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just passed it.
You fucked up the whole family, bro.
Hey, now I'm gonna go make some beats.
Dang.
That's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
go make some beats.
Yeah.
I
And they not
almost
even
went
beats
there.
for
I
Jesus.
I almost went
They're not
there.
even beats for Jesus.
Nah, it's like Mike was referring to.
I hit the weed.
It's really a discipline that you can't put down nowadays. So
Sorry.
being a pastor in today's format, when the society doesn't support hardcore discipline like they did back then, you're wasting your time. You look like a fool, bro. You know, and as I stated earlier, people who need that type of etiquette installed in their system later in life, they only need it because their parents didn't give it to them. So the Catholic Church put it down, bro. They were ferocious and they didn't play. They were very serious. And then the sciences that they started to understand through philosophy, some of the stuff that St. Thomas Aquinas put down and St. Augustine the Hippo put down for the development of the Catholic thought, you can't get around it, bro. So you can't get around it, dog. It's crazy. Like some of the stuff.
It's fascinating how you break it down like that, and
Yeah, the bottom lines that they reached on like female activity, on male activity, what is music, and what are these things? You cannot beat what they are talking about, bro. And the lines that they reached psychologically to enforce the law and design law based on that, So yeah. I like seriousness, as Mike said in the beginning. This is not a serious space. So
no, that makes it.
Me being by myself in life, I had to be serious in order to survive. You know what I'm saying? So it just synced,
So I think that when people like walk away from like I'm just assuming, were you raised Christian?
Yeah.
So you was raised Christian. So anytime that someone with intellect leaves the Christian church, we always try to find, I guess, where we feel the most, where the most discipline is. You know what I'm saying? You find comfort in another religion, or what's the word I'm looking for? I guess just feel more comfortable in a disciplined area where there's really not a lot of gray. You know what I'm saying? There's just like a lot of black and white structure. Right. There you go. Yep, that's what I was looking for.
Right. That's what sort of pushed me down that lane, because my parents couldn't answer questions thoroughly. So that
God. Yeah.
I see y'all was somewhat affected by that too.
Well, no, we were all raised in you don't question God.
No. How you put all these animals in the boat?
I'm triggered.
My questions took my pops with me.
Yeah.
Be like, damn, you right.
Yeah. They couldn't answer questions, and I'm a child.
Right.
And so then you're telling me you're lying to me now because you don't know what you're talking about. And then you're my parent and you're lying to me now.
Yeah,
so this built up a great level of disgust and revolt, is because you stuffing this Jesus down my throat when you need to be stuffing some credit score, my nigga, and some taxes, my nigga. Okay.
There he is.
You're talking about
There it is.
You see what I'm saying? We're not doing this. You know what I'm saying? So I found that, and I still find that disrespectful to this day, to lie to your children on those levels, and you don't know what they're talking about, and you're not investigating it. So
it's funny you say that, because I used to get a lot of flack about, the whole Santa Claus thing and Christmas, because I wouldn't, feed it to my children. And a lot of people in the community, our community you can't
let them kids be kids.
Nah, I wasn't going to.
No, I mean, it's funny you brought that up, because we just got over past Christmas, and you're both right. Let those kids be kids, and then at the same time, there's a lot of details.
No, that's what they say.
To know what's going on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a ritualistically built situation for Europeans. Okay, so when you're looking at holidays of today, when you look at a St. Patty or Christmas or even an Easter, you're looking at a combination of maybe 6-7 different cultures that have intertwined little areas of their science and
throughout history
area. and added it to. So Swiss is a little bit different than German. German is a little bit different than Scottish. Scottish is a little bit different than Irish on small detail, but they keep the same meat and potatoes. Okay, but you may have 4 or 5 different other side
I
dishes.
can't stand shepherd's pie, dog.
Right, and they merge them together.
I don't even know.
Bro, shepherd pie is pretty good, bro. Shepherd pie pretty good, bro.
I don't
I'm
even
gonna
know
hold
what a
stunt.
shepherd's pie is.
The white man, the white
Sounds like
man
Bucky.
knows how to make a casserole.
Oh, so
Okay,
it sounds like a.
they know how to put all the shit they have from scarcity into a motherfucking pan and put cheese on it.
It's gonna
Okay.
go bad.
Yes,
Hey,
They,
look at it.
they know how to. They know how to make the struggle food
cover it in milk.
delicioso, if you will.
I'm gonna stick with my bean pies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Stick with the bean pie, brother.
Those
Okay.
white
Yeah,
sugar
shepherd
cakes?
pie, fire, man. Ground beef, motherfucking
I-
peas, some corn, some mashed potatoes on the top.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
There's a food section in volume 1, and you want no parts of what they're eating over there.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
That, I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, 720, I ain't gonna lie to you. I had to put you down at one point because I was like, man, I just need to live my life right now. Like, it was causing so much fucking conflict in my life. Like, I couldn't do shit. I'm at the fucking 4th of July, like arguing with motherfuckers, telling them like, why are we even here? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I? I'm at the church sitting in the pew with a science book, nigga. Like, it was unnecessary conflict, man. It was.
I don't get into too many conflicts. I only deal with intellect, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was fucking me up, man. I'm trying to take what this nigga. I done seen this nigga say off YouTube, right? I'm trying to take what this nigga said off YouTube and the DVDs I got, and I'm going to talk to these motherfucking ignorant, lost, happy, bam ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a fuck about anything that I'm talking about. I was out there with no guidance, lost, mad as hell.
Don't try to do that, man. Don't try to pound your chest.
Yeah, man. Ill advised.
Man.
You gotta put a disclaimer, man.
Just get
you got to align yourself with people who are interested.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You that's really what it is, or else you will be met with conflict. You're gonna be met with
bro.
You know,
it was rough.
And
I'm over it now.
A lot of that what we were going through. No, a lot of that what we were going through, I feel like relates to the information of the kicked out of heaven, because it talks about people who were outcasted and hung up and all of that type of stuff for just the language they speak, all of that type of stuff. In a lot of ways, that's how we felt in our community.
Touche.
Yeah, we're just now learning our language, and that's another thing these 3 books will drag you through. Is some in-depth areas of the English language. If you want to look at it chronologically, we're just now learning or just now speaking the English language on a more expansive note, and we have to give a round of applause to our MCs that's also assisting that. You dig what I'm saying?
Snoop Dogg.
But yeah, they are assisting that. We are becoming masters of the English word, but the English language has been around for about 800 to about 1,000 years, maybe a little bit more than that. But, we're talking about solid usage of it. We just got to about 100 years ago. But go ahead.
For shizzle.
There's a brother I be watching on YouTube, Dane Calloway.
Nigga said for shizzle.
And I don't know how true this is, but maybe you can, shed some light on that. Is it true that the English language was just a derivative of like 20 other languages put together?
The English language is actually composed of 150 other different languages that have words inside of the English language. Okay, there's a long list of them. Guitar, I think, is a word that comes from the Mandingo tribe. The word home or the word taboo, those are Samoan words. So, there's a lot of words in the English language that
I was just gonna say that, like, if you look at like etymology and even in a dictionary, it tell you like the good dictionaries, it'll tell you where the word first originated. And when you look through a whole just one page, you're gonna see at least 6-7 different origins probably.
Right. All languages, especially European languages, are connected. But the true essence of language, even underneath ancient Egypt, is the caveman's grunts. The grunts of the caveman is where sound words got got composed from.
Yeah,
know?
like that.
Once you understand that level, you're dealing with a whole nother beast. You know.
Literaturely.
Yeah, literally. You know.
That's what
The caveman grunts are still around though.
Yeah.
They are
Ooga
still
booga,
spoken for today. Yeah, ooga booga, all that shit. Even when you say ooh on something that was cool.
Yeah, wow. You know.
Yeah.
And
those are
right.
all cavemen.
That's wild. That's
wild.
wild.
The monosyllable words are caveman grunts.
Yeah.
So words.
I hear it all at the gym. I hear all the grunts, all the different mating calls, all that shit. Some people are really fucking, I get all the athletes and shit. And I'm like, okay, get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I hear you. Shit.
The caveman.
Damn, dog. I never look and say, yeah, the same. Yeah. Woo-wee.
Still happens today. Look at that. See?
Yeah, and that's why, and that's also why it's easier to talk to females in monosyllable words. So it's like, how are you? Those are all monosyllable words.
Damn.
Do you want a drink? What school do you go to? I live, here.
They heard something completely different, and then you're fucked up. You're in trouble. I mean, you're fucked. It's gonna be a bad day.
That's wild.
For a week.
Maybe. Name.
Depends on the situation.
Words. If you keep your game macking at a girl in monosyllable words, you're gonna move a lot quicker with her.
Yep.
No habla. I don't speak English.
The art of macking. You taking it a step further.
Honestly, the shit you're saying and like stuff man, I love it. And the books you're having, I wish growing up, like the younger generation, maybe before high school or grammar school, something like this taught at a younger age, or parenting, of course, it's, help, get you on the right path, not get into the wrong shit, not get in jail, not get fucked up and keep making the same mistakes over and over, because it feels like it's a rotation of life. Not just with your community. I'm talking about all. I'm talking about the human race. I could say of everybody.
Yeah,
that's a definitely good point, and that's, as you alluded to earlier, that's why you should replace this on your your living room table, or put that next to the big book, in the front room. And it's important to have this type of information in your house so that it can be grasped early, and you kind of pick up on that information earlier as a child and grow the interest into your adult stages of life while your brain is developing. And to that note, 720, where can they find this book, and how would you actually encourage them to put this in their household?
Kickedoutaheaven.com is where you can get it. It's $50 right there right now. I'm running a sale. That's all 3 volumes, over 1,000 pictures. You can get it there. And if it's in your home, that all depends on what type of guests you have or what type of people you bring to your home. Some people may come.
Will this ward off guests unwanted?
Yeah, it'll do that. If you
put it above my doorway like they do the horseshoes and shit.
I'm telling you, that's explained in the book as well. The horseshoe thing. Because what the horseshoe is made of iron, and a woman can't pass iron, and the iron is the top metal in your blood. So the blood is what enforces what witchcraft really is. I'll just be real short and sweet. Witchcraft is a battle in between man and woman trying to maintain dominance by either making you marry her or by incorporating erectile dysfunction on you.
God damn.
That's what witchcraft is. Witchcraft
in some cases, both shit. In some cases,
witchcraft. Right. Witchcraft is the sciences that women use in order to attract a mate for marriage, or which is quote unquote slavery activity. And then also to incorporate erectile dysfunction so she'll be hurt. So when you don't have erectile dysfunction, that means your blood flows through your body. So that means you have iron, as women usually have iron deficiency. I forgot what it's called, but
anemia.
Yeah, anemia. And anemia is in the encyclopedia. The word slipped my mind real quick. They have an iron deficiency. So having iron as a male makes you, blue chew is what we'll say, or Cialis or Viagra or whatever. All right. So it'll give you that and that is the power over a female. So that's what they're doing during the course of witchcraft. I just had to be short and sweet with that. And all of those sciences in there, volume 2. Okay, they even have a phallus tree where they take men's cocks off and put it in the tree. And so
fucking lights up and shit and everything got lights and shit.
There's some crazy shit up in there, but they're talking about psychological sciences. They're talking about a lot of different, societal stuff. So you can find it there, kickedoutofheaven.com. And if you were to have these books in your house, it all depends on who you have over. Each book has its own torture chamber. So if you want somebody to be scared off, just open it up to the torture devices and leave it there on the table, I guess.
Damn.
But if you want to, it'll grab people's attention. As you see, all my books are in my room upstairs, because if I invite girls over, they'll divert the attention towards past you and start looking at your books when you have a goal to achieve for the evening. Okay.
Hey, yes, sir.
So it's best for me and all my homies.
Everything is tactical.
Right. Everything is tactical. So me and my homies, we all keep our books away because you don't read no books no way, for number one. For number two,
Right.
you grab
We
one of
don't
these
want the
books and
chicken
flip them
grease
open.
on
It
the
might
pages.
deter the whole night. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll act like they
It's
got
not
something.
Zane, baby.
Man, y'all get out there and pick that book
Keep your
up,
books
bro.
hidden. Yeah.
Pick it up.
Mhm.
Man, there you have it. Y'all let us know if we got that shit right or wrong, man. Y'all head on over there to TruVuePodcast.com. That's TruVue Podcast, TruVue Podcast.com, where you can like, subscribe, share, and comment to help us defeat the all-powerful algorithm that's trying to hold a black pod down. And thank you for riding with us over at the YouTube, man. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications, the thumbs up, the subscribe button. Share us with somebody and leave us a comment. Drop in the comments something that you want us to review, because we here at the TruVue Podcast know that it's not just about our review, but it's with the conversation with the crew, man. So let's get it. Y'all drop in there what y'all want us to, man, and we will let the conversation ensue. TruVue Podcast. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely do everything that Melly Mel just said. We do respond back to those comments, so definitely let us know what it is that you want to watch. Try to make it a little up to date. We're not trying to go all the way back to the 1950s. We may fuck with the 1970s a little bit on our own personal time, but as far as for the pod niggas, get real. Okay? All right. So just make sure you guys, just a generalization, guys. So I believe I'm speaking for everyone.
It's
All
a
right,
classic.
alley up to my guy.
Talking about the
Yeah. I so appreciate you stepping in today, 720, A.K.A. Keenan
Most
Booker,
definitely.
the real Keenan Booker. Anything you want to let them know before you get out of here?
I appreciate y'all for having me. I appreciate your appreciation and interest into the medieval, my home. You dig what I'm saying? Those in the audience, you get the books. They're going $50 right now. Kicked Out of Heaven. That's all 3 volumes. And these are books that are studied at, the universities that educated the Pope, and also where the Pope is teaching at. And I'm not lying. I have receipts on all of that. So, if you want some real game on how to survive in this world and have some royalty in your aura, you go through this information. You dig? So kickedoutofheaven.com. Do it. Get at it. Peace.
Man, there you have it. There you go. There'll be the end of the show. In the TruVue Podcast, you know what the hell we always say.
Go watch some shit. Go read some shit. Dig what I'm saying? Go watch some shit, nigga. Yeah.
And then come talk some shit.
Yeah. And then come talk some shit. Perfume. Go check that movie out.
TruVue Podcast.
A bunch of different views.
The boys keep it real, man. I really like listening to them, man. They funny. Yeah.